Shalom, Koholo Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahahakadash. Double honors to the apostles, apostle and elders, a great millstone, peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. My name is Barada Ball, coming to you from the GMS campus, Indianapolis. And to all those listening and learning to you, I say Shalom, especially to you so called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that make up the 12 tribes of Israel. Today, I'm just going over, I'll say, spiritual thoughts. Um, And the main point of the thoughts is um, godliness with contentment is great gain. Godliness with contentment is great gain. And I put thought of the woman. Okay, it's a video that I have, and it actually provoked some thoughts. But I'm going to read down into it, starting with verse 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 3, and hopefully it's edifying, uplifting, exhorting of some sort to the elect body of true believers. Again, this is First Timothy chapter 6, verse 3. It says, if any man teach otherwise and consent not unto wholesome words, even the words of the Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness. Now, uh, the wholesome words, of course, is the true understanding and breakdown of the scriptures. Okay, understanding who you are and understanding who Yahweh and his son is. Okay, like it tells us in Jeremiah chapter 9, verses 23, let no man glory, in their might, and then you jump down in riches and things of that nature. But then you jump down to verses 24, he says, let him that glorieth in this, that they know of me, right? That we know Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And so we're going to teach those things and work, as the men of the Lord to help the people, the elect mainly, to discern, because those are the ones that are going to listen, to discern whether um, who is of the righteous and who is of the wicked. Okay, who is of the elect, the one third, who is of the two thirds, and of course, as you may many will know, is that GMS, starting with our head apostles, Great Millstone, or and those that teach the likewise doctrines. Those of myself will, whether you want to call it famous, infamous, notorious, well known for correcting the false doctrines, the actions of those that are in the know of being Israelites, starting with the camps, and then also those um, that may not claim to be Israelites, okay, but are Israelites. Whether you hear it or forbear, and to go out into the nations and speak these truths to the heathen and amongst the heathen, because that is what we have been called to do. So, um, reading says, if any man teach otherwise and consent not to the wholesome words, even to the words of our Lord, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, okay, to the doctrine which is according to godliness. He says, he is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strife with words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings. And see, you when they are being corrected, you will find that many of the people that are being corrected, and again, it's not coming out of our own heart. We're just connecting the scriptures, thus saith the Lord, to the habits of the people that are out in the world. And again, we understand according to Hebrews, I believe it's 6 and 12, how the word of the Lord um, is sharp. It's sharper than a two-edged sword, and so it cuts, through the physical and hits right into the spirit. And when people get hit and they get cut, they get mad and they lash out. And at any time that we, speaking of the words of the Lord, we understand that we know that it's not us that they're actually coming against. Okay, it's actually Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And so it makes it somewhat absorbable, I guess the lack of terms, to actually not be in our feelings, when we see that there's a lashing out, you know, um, because the truth is the truth. It says, perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth. Suppose that gain is godliness, for such withdraw thyself. So, of course, you have camps who have gained a huge following, maybe even money. Men of GMS have been called bums, and and though as though these men don't have jobs. You know, they've been called pedos, saying they're messing with little kids or rapists. So these accusations and things are that we believe through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai are coming from men with that have corrupt minds, because we correct them in doctrine, and then they lash out with accusations or explaining how they have more money or how they have a greater following or they have more views on the YouTube and different channels, and not understanding that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is only dealing with a few. Okay, and so with that being said, he says, withdraw thyself. So those that come into the know must have a discerning eye to know who's actually preaching and teaching the truth, especially in these last days, because the Lord said himself, he's going to make known who are his chosen. And it's going to be that much more evident as the day and day approach to him returning. This is the main point I wanted to get. It says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. Okay, godliness with contentment is great gain. I pulled this word contentment up, and it says the state of happiness and satisfaction. And the reason why I mention the woman is because, I think about back in the time of Adam, and you see her there, but at the time, think about the time Adam and Eve, and how, Adam had dominion over the whole earth, and then he was given a woman, and so she had a role to play. In the process of her role, she was the one that was deceived by the serpent, which was a crafty snake-like man. It wasn't a snake as in a physical snake, but it was a man who was being very deceptive. Okay, and so he, of course, you know, couldn't approach the man, but he went to his woman. And as you notice, when you think about a lot of things that happen in the world, a lot of things that happen to Jake, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, whether it's been going to jail, many accusations falsely being set up, as far as being drugged, um, going into hotels. There one I seen where they were being robbed by two women. It all seems to stem back to a woman. Okay, and of course you got men that are doing their things as well, but you see that men will actually fight and do many things just to the pleasure of a woman. And of course, Eve not being content, she couldn't have been content with what she had because she accepted what the serpent, okay, um, this evil brought to her. Okay, this man brought to her, and then she in turn took it to Adam. All right, so this is so then when you look into the world, you notice that when it comes to social media, a lot of things in the world, when women have boyfriends, or really, you have a husband. Let's stick it to the truth. If you have a man and you're lying down with him, that is your husband. But you have husbands, right? And you may not have everything in life. You might have a house, but not a car. Okay, that's what I'm saying. You might have beautiful children, but you're in an apartment. But you have your husband, you have your man, and you got your kids, right? And also for the man, all right. There are some things when you being godly, being satisfied with what Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has made for you. The first thing we learn when we come amongst GMS, and of course I can say that I can bring it out, is that we have to learn our lot. We have to learn the place in which Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has placed us and be happy with it. Okay, the scriptures talk about exalting thyself. You're trying to force yourself to be exalted amongst, whether it be amongst brethren or just out in the world too, right? Because even with exalting yourself, the Lord will bring you low. That's why you see that a lot of people, or a lot of causes of our people, is because of the pride and the arrogancy of thinking themselves to be something when they are nothing, as it talks about in James, you know. And um, so just going to the point of being content, being happy with the lot that the Lord has given you. If He's given you a husband, stick with your husband. Be by your husband. You're giving you a wife, and they're happy to dwell, especially if they're happy to dwell with you. Be happy with your be satisfied with what the Lord has given you. Okay, because again, when you start to ruffle feathers and complain about things that you have no control over, that could very well disrupt things that are going on, especially if you have a man of the Lord. Okay. And that's why I say it's kind of more geared toward the woman. All right. Um, this is the book. I'm going to actually get this video here and I'm going to play it. And this is
Do
what
it.
kind of we're
When I
focused on.
tell you I love to cook, clean, just don't tell the feminists. I love to do it, and I love to do it for
Now, she said, don't tell the feminists, because that was a movement that was pushed out, by Esau, the so-called white man, which brought a division between a man and a woman. And actually, I went into the comments. I'm gonna spend a little time on it. I'm gonna go into the comments so you can see what some people were saying.
a man. However, not outside of marriage. Absolutely not. That sounds like hell. But just to see the look on a man's face when you cook him a meal that is so good, you can just tell he's proud. There's something within me as a woman, maybe it's almost turning 25, that got me thinking, like, this cooking and cleaning thing isn't bad. Like, I just don't understand.
So young, beautiful young woman who's willing to please her husband, to see her man to be happy, to have joy in the fact of feeding him a meal and he's appreciating it. Okay. And then how much more, if he's a man of the Lord, going out to please, to do the work of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay.
Why women wanted to work. What was the point? Like, there is nothing satisfying about working. A man that takes care of you, a man that provides for you, you don't have to worry about anything, no bills.
Okay. Kind of paused on me. So you,
I will cook and clean all day, and I'm just enjoying it. Yes, I'm crying over some onions, but is this what we fought for as women? I don't know.
so you see the point there. Um, and actually, I was gonna try to get the comments, but like always, my phone seems to do craziness. Let's see. All right. Well, I'll just kind of reference some of the comments that I seen when I last looked at it. Some of the comments went into, it's just like, um, this is what men, this is this would have men working that much harder. You know, they will want to. This would make a man really want to protect and provide. Okay. I wish I really could. There was others. Oh, was that mention of that feminist movement being put into the life and telling women that they can work on their own or they can make their own money, which would actually increase more workers in the field and more taxes. Um, I again, talk about how in the book of Proverbs, you read chapter 6, I think starting around 19 verse, I could be a little off there, but when you read those six abominations, one that they have done is sow discord, made a division between the man and the woman. The curses talk about how the eye being evil toward the wife, a and the wife eye being evil toward her husband, not being willing to submit to her husband, to the rules of her husband, the authority in which the Lord has put him in. Okay. And so they're having content, being content, satisfied with you being the woman and having a man, especially a man, a righteous man that is working to please Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, that is again, like it mentioned here, godliness with contentment is a great gain. So I'm gonna get this here. This is the book of um, First Timothy chapter 2. I'm going to read up since I did mention Adam before. I'm going to read up starting at about verses um, 9. He says, "And in like manner also the woman adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broiding hair and gold or pearls or costly array, but which becometh woman professing godliness with good works." So of course, a woman today, they know how to dress up, put on different pieces of clothing, doll themselves up a way to please their husband, to be what we would say eye candy. You know, they know how to dress to play the part, to act the part. Brother, I hear brothers say all the time, or I've seen in videos. I don't know if it was actually brothers Salakia. I could be off there, um, but I have heard, how they say, a woman can go to work, get dressed up, get dolled up, and go into work, and listen to everything their boss say, man or female. Yes, yes, sir, and get right on the job when they're asked to do a certain task. But when they get home and they're with their husband, they have a lot of things to say. They got a lot of pushback, and so that's what we're saying. Being careful, because it's not about just how your outward appearance, but verse 10 it says, "But becoming the woman professing godliness with good works." Okay, because you have a responsibility to do just as much as that man. Okay, it says, "Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection." And it also tells us how the woman should learn from her husband at home, right? And so that's why I keep mentioning a godly man, a man of the Lord, man of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And he says because they're going to teach them the oracles of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and how they should conduct themselves. "But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor usurp authority over a man, but to be in silence." And that's what's happening a lot here in the Americas. They've given women the mindset, and given them positions in the world that have shown them a false reality of them being more powerful, whether it be intellectual, physical um, abilities. It says, "Or to usurp authority over the man, but be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve." So that's why I brought up Adam and Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. So if you go back to the story, you see that she, out in the world, she was greatly influenced and provoked into doing, into falling off, and as a return, she brought it to her husband. And that's the main point, one of the main points. It says, "Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if she continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety." So, of course, if you remain faithful unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you be content with the Lord, what the Lord has given you, and you could possess the good works that the Lord has given you, um, then you too will be saved. And of course, as you see, for childbearing, because in the kingdom, the elect, uh, starting with the 144,000 and elect men, they're going to, they're going to have their women in the kingdom, and the women, starting with the children of the elect of Israel, like women, they're going to be in the kingdom as well, bringing forth children. thousands of children, building nations of children. Okay, and so there is a purpose for all of us, but we must have to be we must be content with what the Lord has given us through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. So I hope that this lesson was edifying, uplifting, exhorting of some sort into the body. Before I end, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahahakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. And to all those listening and learning to you, I say, Shalom.